Under the burning desert sun, a lone camel stumbled weakly across the dunes, its massive frame trembling with exhaustion. Once a symbol of endurance and strength, it now looked frail and broken, its ribs showing through the thin layer of skin. Something was terribly wrong. The animal's dull eyes and labored breathing hinted at an invisible torment within. What rescuers would later discover was horrifying. The camel was suffering from a severe infestation of parasitic worms that were slowly eating away at its strength from the inside. Local herders were the first to notice the camel's strange behavior. It had stopped eating and drinking, lying in the sand for hours without moving. When they approached, they saw the signs of a serious infection, thin discharge from its mouth, wounds that refused to heal, and parasites crawling near its skin. They knew the creature didn't have much time left, so they quickly contacted a nearby animal rescue team for help. Within hours, the rescuers arrived, carrying medical supplies, water, and blankets. The moment the team saw the camel, their hearts sank. It was barely able to lift its head, and its long legs shook each time it tried to stand. The rescuers approached slowly, speaking softly to calm the frightened animal. Years of experience had taught them that a gentle voice could often comfort even the most distressed creature. One of the rescuers draped a soft cloth over the camel's back to protect it from the blazing heat while others set up shade using a large tarp. Time was critical, every minute counted. They began by hydrating the camel. Its lips were dry and cracked, so the team carefully inserted a hydration tube to deliver clean water directly into its system. The poor creature groaned weakly, its body too weak to resist. The rescuers then began examining the visible wounds. They found small lesions crawling with tiny parasites, an unmistakable sign of worm infestation. The veterinarian mixed antiparasitic medicine into a syringe and injected it into the camel's neck while others cleaned the infected areas with antiseptic solution. The smell of infection was strong, but the team pressed on with determination. As the hours passed, they realized the situation was worse than they thought. The worms had spread inside the camel's digestive tract, making it nearly impossible for the animal to digest food properly. Without treatment, it would die slowly and painfully. The rescuers decided they couldn't treat the camel in the field, it needed full medical care at the rescue facility. With careful coordination, they prepared to transport it. Using a stretcher and ropes, they gently lifted the camel onto the back of a truck designed for large animals. Every movement had to be slow and steady to avoid causing more pain. The journey across the desert was grueling. The hot wind blew dust into their faces as the truck bounced over uneven sand. One rescuer sat beside the camel, gently stroking its neck to reassure it. The animal occasionally opened its eyes, gazing at them with what seemed like a mix of fear and gratitude. After hours of travel, they finally arrived at the rescue center, where the medical team was already waiting. Inside the clinic, the veterinarians worked tirelessly. They cleaned the camel's wounds again, shaved off infected fur, and administered stronger doses of deworming medication. The procedure was long and difficult, but the team refused to give up. They flushed out worms from the camel's intestines, disinfected each wound, and ensured that it was receiving fluids and nutrients intravenously. Despite the pain, the camel remained calm, as if it understood that these humans were its last hope. Days turned into weeks, and slowly, the camel began to recover. It started standing on its own, nibbling on hay, and drinking water from a bucket placed near its shelter. The brightness returned to its eyes, and its breathing became steady again. The rescuers visited daily, talking to it, brushing its coat, and ensuring its wounds were healing properly. Each day brought visible progress. The once weak animal was now regaining its strength and dignity. After several weeks of care, the camel was finally strong enough to return to the open desert. The rescuers released it into a protected area where it could roam freely without danger. The camel took a few hesitant steps before turning to look at its rescuers one last time. For a moment, it stood still under the golden light of the setting sun, as if acknowledging their kindness, before walking away with renewed energy and freedom. This emotional rescue was a powerful reminder of the bond between humans and animals. Despite the harsh desert conditions and the pain of the infection, compassion triumphed. The rescuers' courage and dedication brought a dying creature back to life, proving that even in the most hopeless situations, kindness and care can make miracles happen.